Do It Now show. We've had some technical difficulties, but now we're ready to go. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelmann. You can read down below. Yes, that's me, Dr. V. And with me over to my that away is Dr. Kayvon K.
Hello, everyone.
Profit
Glad
Finder.
to be here again.
Your Profit Finder and Simplify.
Correct.
Okay. And down below, the man in the know with a bright light who'll treat you just right. John Paduchak, otherwise known as RV John.
And that's me. Thank you very much.
And chicken tender. Because
Got some of those.
he tends to the chicken.
I do.
Hey, so today's topic, how fascinating are you, John?
I don't know. I'd like to think it's pretty fascinating.
You can become more fascinating with the comedy stylings of Dr. Kayvon K and his deep knowledge of Sally Hogshead Fascinator. Is that right? The
Yeah.
Fascinator? Just
Fascinator.
Fascination, I guess.
fascination. How to
Yeah.
make your brand really fascinating.
Yes.
Okay. So people are instantly drawn towards you like a moth to a flame.
Like a moth to a flame, how to be unignorable.
Unignorable. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can also be adorable and unignorable if you follow Dr. Kayvon K.
Yes.
So
Well, so when we say that, fascination, getting attention, unignorable, what comes to your mind and what kind of an experience have you had with that?
Svengali, look into my eyes. I used to teach hypnosis to doctors, so it was hilarious, some of the stuff we used to pull. One of my co-teachers, Dr. Romero, who unfortunately has since passed, even put a turban on one time and just started walking around the room.
Wow.
And people, he had a cape and a turban, and people they were fascinated because they didn't know what the heck he was doing. So there was one way to get attention, though. So
Yeah, we used to do that with one of our friends. We took him back to childhood. It was awesome.
yeah,
Had him drawing like when he was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It was
So do you hypnotize people, Dr. Kayvon, in order to fascinate them?
No, I don't, and I am no sorry that I asked that question.
I know. Maybe you should. Because maybe you should.
Maybe you should.
Yeah. we got to the face slap moment fairly quick this time.
And it didn't come from me.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a new record on so many different levels.
Nope. No face palm needed by John Paduchak today.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hey, so did you want to go into talking a little bit more?
Well, let me
about
give
what
you
think
like a little bit of an
fascination?
intro first.
What's your intro?
This is like my personal experience. So I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4". I have the weird hair. My hair started to turn white or gray from the age 14.
Wow.
Yeah, so early, and so what I'm saying is, it's harder not to see me. I'm very noticeable when I enter a room or in the crowd and that kind of a thing, and not knowing how to work with that. This could be could be an attack on securities and that sort of thing, and not knowing how human interaction or life works, especially when you're young, you might make a lot of mistakes, as in, oh, so and so is doing it and he's getting attention, or I should be doing it other. Like, you try to act like James Bond or other things, but the idea is that we should be ourselves. When we are ourselves, we are the most best version of ourselves. We offer the best value. We attract the right people to ourselves, and generally we are happier with ourselves. So fascination and the work of Sally Hogshead, and this is the book, by the way, if anybody wants to get it. It's called Fascinate by Sally Hogshead.
Fascinate.
It's a great read, and she goes through so many years of research and experimentation, and she has developed this this test, which I can provide the link of taking the test. So basically, I took the test, and it gives you an archetype, what kind of a archetype you are. And the concept of fascination is based on, well, doesn't matter who you meet. After a while, you can find something fascinating about them, something interesting about them. So and so is good with something. Sometimes you notice people are good with communication, with making friends, or numbers and that sort of thing. So basically, she looked into it and identified 7 main ways that people find each other fascinating or can influence each other. She calls them the advantages, but you can think of them something like a superpower or something, that you have it. And there's a primary and the secondary, and the intersection of the two creates the archetype. So that's about the knowing yourself, the personal advantage, and that kind of a thing. Now, when we go further with that and bring that from our personal to professional life, now you can use that to clearly and very in an impactful way create your own personal brand. So, like I call myself simplifier. It comes from a process like that. So not only it is me, it is my superpower, but also it comes from through a process. So in the Fascinate process, we call that creating your own personal anthem. So John, there is some, you say procrastination, something
Anti-procrastination specialist.
yes. So hi, my name is John and I'm anti-procrastination specialist. First, that's unignorable. 2, attractive to the right people. So that could be your personal anthem. So there is part of this process that I work with my clients. I should say that last year I became a certified Fascinate advisor. So got the training with the team at Fascinate, and the material from Sally Hogshead and all of that. So I work with my client to create this personal anthem for themselves, so they can introduce themselves and the whole messaging around their personal branding. I have clients that we're creating personal brands for them that not only shows up as like an online presence or website, but also this is how we're going to work it around their book or their podcast and that sort of thing. So carrying it even further, you can create a fascinating business, sort of the same sort of an advantages, and assigning those or choosing which kind of an advantage that you want to have for your business. For example, one of the advantages is called alert, which is the language of details, paying attention to details. And another one is called innovation, coming up with new ways of things. So here's the thing. Which one of these two do you think would be the right kind of advantage as far as messaging and marketing for an accounting firm? Do you want them to pay attention to details, or do you
I
want
want detail that I would find with the Profit Finder.
Oh, there you go. Yes. So like a lawyer or an accounting, you want them to be the kind of a business that they do pay attention to details and fine print is not lost, as opposed to let's be innovating and testing things. No. That's the part that I want to be, very organized and all of that. Innovation, I want it to somewhere else in my business. So with the same token, maybe a marketing company and a marketing agency, you want them to speak the language of innovation and not get lost in the details of things like that. So this way, knowing which kind of an advantage we want to have, we can be a fascinating business, unignorable messaging, and that kind of a thing. So when something like a USP is being created, we know what kind of a impact we want to make. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I was just fascinated by John's illuminated hand. So
Yes.
Exactly.
For a second, I thought he wanted me to stop talking.
No, it was, it was almost like he was using the Force.
Yes.
I was trying to make
He's
it
like
slight.
Moses.
Like
Really
Moses. He's
That's
parting the red live stream.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
Yeah.
So how's that? Does that make sense? Any questions? Any comment, feedback?
Yeah, so you say the business. So I mean, you're talking about the personality. So I mean, you don't have your business take the test. I mean,
No, actually, there is a test for the business.
but you need AI or something, or you have
No,
your
it's
business-
it's a questionnaire that
okay.
like what kind of a business it is, what are you doing,
Right.
what do you have this kind of. So going through that, you realize because it's this kind of business, and this is the impact that I want to have. From the 7 advantages, which one would be the main one that you want to communicate with your clients? Like, for example, Apple innovation, right? Yeah. So if they design everything around innovation, all the other things that they talk about comes through that lens.
I do remember, I don't have my test results, but I remember innovation was the top one.
Yeah, that's one of mine as well. So I have a presentation. If you like, we can get into that.
We can allow people to see Dr. Kayvon's screen, and then I'm going to adjust things around, because this is my first time running a live stream through Restream. Oh, this came out well. Or do you want it over here?
Whatever you think.
Well, let's go with this one, I think.
Yeah. So you see my computer background?
Yes, we can see it. Okay. It looks like the California coast. It looks like Monterey or something.
I don't know where that is. That's one of the what is it? Wallpapers that comes with the computer.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think this is Monterey. So.
Okay. So I'm going to...
Or it might be Catalina, part of Catalina Island, now that I think about it.
I have no idea.
It's hard to say.
All right.
It could be Africa. I don't know.
It's not Africa. I can tell you that much.
Africa. No.
Yeah. I'm going to start the presentation, but I won't be able to see what's going on. So you guys have to tell me if everything is all right. So do you see the how to fascinate?
Yes, it's the how-to. What if you could make your brand impossible to resist?
Yes. What if?
What if?
So how do you communicate? When it comes to receiving information, are you a listener or a reader? When it comes to giving information, teaching something, are you a talker or writer? So this way, you can see there are different ways that we can communicate with other people. And the whole idea is to be able to communicate with them in a way that is aligned with our own natural advantages. The same way that being a listener is more dominant than the reader for some people, and vice versa, and the other way around. So let's get started. In business, either as a professional or as your business brand, there are 3 threats that we have to deal with. The first one, let me get to the first one is distraction, and that's our client's distraction. So when
not our distraction.
No. We're talking about what's happening to the market. So right now we have this live stream. Some people are seeing it. Some people are busy with something else.
Correct.
The email is always there. The messages are always there. The phone is always ringing, and that sort of thing. So if we are not fascinating enough, if we cannot stand out, if we are not different from everything else that's out there, the distraction is something that works against us. Make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of people will say, we've got a little housekeeping to do before the webinar, like close your browsers, do this,
exactly.
Do that, turn off your phone. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So the other one is competition. Doesn't matter what business you're in, you have competition. There are other people that they're doing the same thing. So the one that can say it better. So we had sessions about headline and copywriting or different ways of messaging. They're all about being able to stand out in the market with the competition. So that one is self-explanatory. Makes sense.
Yep.
And the other one is with all of the competition that's going on. If we are just another one, same as everybody else, we are going to become a commodity. So it becomes a price war that whoever has the cheapest price is going to get the attention of the clients and the market. So far, so good?
Yeah, I mean, but commoditization is kind of a race to the bottom. That's the only
correct. So that's the whole idea. So the main message behind Fascinate, and it could be one of my slides that's coming, the idea is different is better than better.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you can stand out in a way that you are different from other people. So we were talking about anti-procrastination as specialist.
Simplifier.
Those are different, right? and it's doesn't matter how much distraction they stay with you. They kind of put you in your own league, and make competition a bit more irrelevant. And all the other people that they're doing similar stuff, now you can set your own pricing, and it's not a race to the bottom at that kind of a thing. So I'm interested to know when I talked about the 3 threats to you face, which one of them resonated with you the most?
A threat.
Which one of them do you find them challenging the most?
Well, definitely not commoditization, because I am as unique as they get. I'm a unicorn. So, but I'm not a unicorn pooping rainbows. Let's see. Distraction. I mean, that could be distracting. I'd say probably competition is what I would say.
Okay.
For me, personally. Yeah.
What about you, John? For yourself or your clients?
Probably.
Maybe commoditization, maybe, or no?
Yeah, probably commoditization, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about rising above all of that. So, how can you fascinate? Some of us we think creatively. Some of us we connect with emotion. Some they lead with authority. You set your own standards. You build loyalty. You listen with care, or you protect the details. You can see as I go through this, I'm sure that you can think of instances of that kind of a communication or interaction that you had, or you can think of someone that is strong with that, like leading with authority. Like Jay Abraham is probably strong with that one, right? There are people who can
spend 20 years investigating.
Oh, what was that?
20 years investigating. That was a distraction.
Distraction. There you go.
There you go.
So you can see we can focus on which one is our method of in fascinating our audience and focus on that.
Would you only have one though? Because I mean, okay, because I could see several that I've used.
Well, here's the thing: for our personal, there is a primary and a secondary. We get to that, but for a business, yes, you choose one as the primary, and everything else follows that. Okay. So let's say if it's about connecting with emotion, then you say, so emotion plus authority, how would I say this? How would I communicate that? If I want to talk about the standards of my business, how things are predictable, you again come it from the lens of emotion, because it's standards by themselves maybe become too rigid. But when you say we have standards and we have like a fantastic onboarding process, it's standardized, then you don't have to worry about anything anymore. See, you look at it from the lens of emotion. So if you choose number 2, then everything else, all the other languages that you can speak, and I want to encourage you to speak all the other languages, because you will have people in the target market that each one of these 7 could be their dominant language. So you reconnect to them through that as the secondary for every piece of the content that you create and send it out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, question?
I'm hesitating only because I'm having trouble figuring out what would be my primary. So.
Well, yeah. Well, don't worry about it now. We'll get to that.
I won't worry. I'll take the anti-anxiety pill from Dr. Kayvon K.
There you go. So the fascination system overview. So what is fascination anyway? It's a neurological state of intense focus. When you fascinate your listeners, they are more likely to connect with you and remember you. So that's the idea. To use the science of fascination to discover your distinct value. As I said, mine is Kayvon, the simplifier. How does that work? I help people get out of their own way by simplifying the conversation and identifying the next task that needs to get done. So therefore, implementation, which becomes the standard, it comes from that. So you can see you can work on that to create value delivery language for your client. There are 7 languages that you can communicate and influence, and from the 7 languages, there are 2 of them that you communicate with them to your market and in your life the best more than the other ones. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Okay.
See,
So yes, go ahead.
what I was saying is I had muted myself because there are multiple fighter jets taking off right now. We're right next to the landing strip. So.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for that.
I was just going to say, because this was where they filmed Top Gun Maverick, the latest
Top
movie.
Gun Maverick. Oh,
This is the place.
really? They did over
Yeah,
there?
I kid you not. The beach,
Yeah.
all those scenes, it was here. So,
Beautiful. Awesome. So, the remember 3 threats: the distraction, competition, and commoditization.
Yep.
Identifying your fascination advantage and using them is the antidote to distraction. And as I said, you come up with your personal anthem for your business or for your personal brand, and that's the antidote to the other 2 threats of communication and commodity. I can never say that word. Becoming a commodity.
commoditization is a really hard word.
Yes.
I mean, it's 6 syllables, for God's sakes.
Yes.
So it's like,
So here's something to pay attention to. You don't learn how to be fascinating. You unlearn how to be boring.
wait. I have to become less boring?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have that problem. You are that unicorn.
Apparently not
with your
anymore.
rainbow stuff.
Live streaming with John during the pandemic released my inner
Unicorn.
my inner unicorn.
You're channeling your inner unicorn. So that's that. But it's removing the extra stuff that makes you fascinating.
So you're removing your inhibitions, or what are you doing?
Yeah, as I said, you try to be like this. You try to be like a James Bond, or so and so is working and that's working for them. Here's the thing. Tony Robbins is famous for being very energetic on the stage.
Right.
But that's not the only way to have an impact on your audience.
True.
Some people have different ways, sometimes by being calm, and that's the thing. So if that's not me, and I try to imitate somebody else, then that's boring. So you remove that, you do it the way that's right for you.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because I've used as my Twitter and Instagram bio, it was if Tony Robbins and Robin Williams had a baby, that would be me.
There you go.
So it's pretty self-descriptive.
Yeah, that is a rainbow.
That's a unicorn.
Yes. So we want to do that not only for our own self, but also because we're in the business of delivering value. So the greatest value that we can give to our audience, to people around us, people that we care about them, is to be more of ourselves.
Well, that's what John always says. He always says, "You be you." That's like one of his favorite sayings.
Yes. Who says that?
I do.
Oh, there you go. Yes. You be you. You do you. You be you.
You be you.
Yeah. And we're dealing with the short attention span, which is a non-renewable resource. So we want to be able to pack as much as value in any interaction. Why? Because here's some statistic for you. 80%, 85% of your financial success is due to your personality and ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. Shockingly, only 15% is due to your technical knowledge. So there we go.
So if you want to be a good help desk, it's really based on personality and communications.
Yeah, well, help desk is it has a lot to do with being able to listen well.
True. I mean, because technical, a lot of times they're just scrolling through menus.
Yeah, there we go. So,
interesting. So that's from the Carnegie Institute.
Yes. So, unlike some other tests, because Fascinate can be compared with Colby or to Strength Finder and that sort of thing. Those are all about how you see the world. Fascinate is how the world sees you when you're at your best, right? So this is a branding thing. This is a marketing thing. All the other assessments are usually based on psychology. This one, Fascinate, is all about branding and marketing. How the world sees you and how you can bring the best out of it, or really, really fine tune it and have your anthem. So, so far so good. I want to get ready to get to the 7 advantages and 7 ways that we can fascinate each other. Are we good? Ready for that?
Sure, as long as it doesn't how the world sees you when you're at your worst.
Well, when we are not in our advantages, then that's what happens.
Okay, so
So
7.
7 advantages. Some people, you have innovation as their advantage. It is the language of creativity. That is actually my primary.
You betcha.
The second one is passion, language of relationship. And then we got power, the language of confidence, prestige, the language of excellence, trust, the language of stability, mystique, the language of listening. We were just talking about customer service, right? The language of listening.
Yep.
Right.
And alert, the language of detail. What do you think? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
It does. I was in the details too because our faces were blocking the language of detail, so I had to move us around in our view. But you'll see that later.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's so language of creativity, relationship, confidence, excellence. Yeah, I wish I could remember my secondary.
Maybe it comes to you as we were talking. So
okay.
Each one of them, like the innovation advantage, there are a bunch of keywords that you want to pay attention to. So creative, visionary, entrepreneurial. These are the things that's one with the innovation advantage, either for themselves or for the business. They can use in their USP or marketing material, sales material, conversion material, and all of that. So each one of them has its own set of adjectives. Like, for example, power is confident, decisive, goal-oriented. So there is a list, there's a process that we can go through, and all of that. So I mentioned primary and secondary. Each one of us has one of these as our primary and another one as a secondary. As in, primary is the one that you use the most often, and it's most authentic and confident in yourself and helps you make a positive impression. And secondary is the one that doesn't cost you a lot of energy and the language that you already speak. Basically, one is what you do. The secondary is how you do it. So in my case, my archetype is called trendsetter. Primary is innovation. Secondary is prestige, as in the language of creativity, the language of higher standards, and language of excellence. So what I do is I come up with new ways of looking at things or doing things, and how I do it is by having a higher standard or trying to always making it better and excellent. So my anthem could be cutting edge strategies. Cutting edge is from the primary innovation part of it. The strategies is about the excellence and improvements. See, if somebody asks me, Kayvon, how do you help other people? How do you help your clients? When I say cutting edge strategy, that explains it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, very good. So, as I said, each one of us has one of these primary advantages. And if you have also your secondary advantage, the intersection of the two would be your archetype. So you got 7 and 7, you end up with 49 different ways. And in the top, in the middle, right under prestige, that's where I am. Cutting edge, elite, progressive. Those are my personal adjectives. And each person gets one of these cells, except do you see that diagonal row that goes from the top left to the bottom right with the dotted line around them? So those are not actual archetypes. As you can see, they are the intersection of one repeating itself, like innovation and innovation, or passion and passion. Those are called the
no-nos.
Yeah, they are. What do we call them? The name is going to come back to me. But here's the thing: if too much innovation is anarchy, right? I'm going to use myself again: innovation and prestige. And too much prestige is, called the imperial, as in me coming up as arrogant or cold or feeling superior and that sort of thing. Now, here's the thing: it's called the double trouble. By the way, I remember the name.
Double trouble.
Double trouble. So here's the thing: you know how when we are tired, or maybe sick, or intimidated, or nervous, we get into a like a self-protection mechanism, and the worst of us comes out, that's when you get into one of our double trouble, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes if you have people that it's innovation plus innovation, then they just came up with so many new ideas that it's very hard to implement. So that's why different characteristics needs to work together to make progress can happen. So double trouble could be two people too strong in one of those things, like for example the old guard under trust, then everything is predictable, safe, unmovable. This is how we have done it when we're not going to change nothing.
That's right.
I
Yes.
remember what I was.
What is it?
A rock star.
The rock star. Ooh.
Yep,
So what's the
that was
second
it.
one?
That was it. Yep. I looked at these things. That's it. The rock star.
What is it?
It's between, well, you look at innovation and passion.
Passion.
Yeah, that's it.
Innovation and passion.
That's it.
Oh, there you go. That's called the catalyst.
A catalyst? Okay. That's not a list of cats.
Oh, you mean? Oh, right. Sorry. Passion is your what is it?
Where's my secondary?
Yeah, innovation is your first. Passion. Yes, I was looking at the wrong
Okay.
cell. Sorry.
I
Yeah,
just
the
gotta
rock
start
star.
doing,
Bold,
I gotta start doing
artistic,
this. Get my
unorthodox.
sunglasses too.
There you go. So that suddenly explains how when we want to come up with titles and ideas, you and I quickly get to the point because we speak the same language.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, when somebody takes the test, they can realize what their archetype is, and there's a whole report and goes through all of that. So I think we can stop here.
You mean in Monterey or Catalina?
No,
That's where we're stopping.
No, well, my presentation is long and it goes, there are many other
We
things.
should do part 2.
Yeah, we can do a part 2.
I'd like to do part 2.
Because the next one was the deep dive and that sort of thing.
I'm absolutely fascinated.
Thank you.
Well, it's funny because I went through that list. I kept looking, and suddenly it was like, whoa, it was right at the very top.
Yes.
Because there's another branding test that I've taken, which is behavioral branding. And it was something remarkably similar, but different. And I think the category was, I can't remember. One of them was magician and the other one was something else. I can't remember who were. And those two together formed something that it almost makes sense. Like sort of like you're the entertainer. You're like,
yes.
Very interesting.
Another way that this is helpful and useful is not only in standing out and branding and all of that, is also in making sure things get done properly. Like for example, if I'm innovation and prestige, that means I probably not necessarily pay attention to details. So making sure somebody on my team has alert as their first advantage, right? We may want to bring people who have passion, which is the language of communication and emotion with other people into the team to make sure either within the team, HR or customer service or communication, the building the brand, those aspects are covered. So basically what I do with my clients is everybody in the team runs the test and we end up with an empty version of this and I'll put dots in it. So you end up with a heat map of what are we too strong or what are the empty spaces. And that way a team building, strengthening your team or planning your future hires you can have insight to that to make the better decisions.
So you have to gather 49 people together and hopefully they're not all identical.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Let's go with that. No double trouble. So you have to subtract the ones that are going to town across.
With a bunch of freaks, it's double trouble. Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah.
Have you taken this test before, John?
I did, but I can't remember what I scored on it.
Yeah.
I'll have to get the link from Kayvon and retake it.
Yeah, actually,
I should take it again to see if I'm still a rock star or if I've devolved into an alcoholic or something.
So let me actually find. You know what? So many people keep asking me about, because Fascinate is not the only thing that I recommend. So I actually put all of the different things as far as tools or tests or all of that that I recommend to other people all in one page, and I call it Kayvon Recommends or something like that.
Okay.
So let me find that link and
Okay.
I'll share it with you. So you guys keep talking and I'll look for the link.
Let's keep
Okay.
talking. Just keep talking. So what's new in New Hampshire, John?
Well,
Since
it's
you know,
nice. It's
how are the
beautiful.
chickens?
It's funny. Chickens are great.
Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, though.
They're already hatched. And
They're
they're
already
getting big.
hatched. Okay. But not egg laying yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Soon.
Soon they'll be laying eggs. And John's going to be making omelets. You know, you do have to break a few eggs if you want to make an omelet.
I've heard this.
So you've heard.
So I've heard.
Hey, now you were at Home Depot earlier today. So is there a Lowe's nearby?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
We got everything here.
you have
Could
everything?
could you bring up my screen again?
Sure.
And where do I put this this link so you can
Oh,
share
well,
it
you
with our
could,
audience?
I
I see a
guess
private chat in here.
you can stick it in the private chat, and I think I can pull it under.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this
it's meet.kayvonk.com/r for recommendation. These are all the things that I know I recommend. So like AppSumo or Groove, these are business tools. For a high performing team, you can find Fascinate here or Colby over there. For books that I recommend, for some or I think maybe all of them, I do have a affiliate link thing. So full disclosure.
Yeah.
So if you find this helpful, click on that, and it goes through
And
my.
I'll make some cash off you.
What's that?
And I'll make some cash off you.
Yeah, there you go.
I found the link, so I just pushed it in there to the. It's going everywhere.
Yes, thank you. So yeah,
This is really a learning curve. I was the first time in the app doing this.
the best way to learn, right?
Wow, it's like throwing the baby in the ocean when they're born. Of course, it must be similar to the amniotic fluid.
And here's the funny thing: we're on Restream because we had issues with Melon, and guess what? I'm recommending Melon here.
And you're recommending Melon. Well, Melon has worked really, really
Right
well,
here.
but sometimes these platforms get a little glitchy.
Yeah.
We had problems with StreamYard, and we loved StreamYard for like 18 months.
And I've had problems with Restream, but
With Restream also,
haven't been
recently
figured
we've had
out.
Restream problems. So it
I
makes
haven't
you
been figured
wonder.
out during this.
It
so-
makes you wonder if it's actually the platforms to which we are streaming.
Yeah, they
May
could
be the issue.
change their coding or something and all
It
of that.
could be.
And here's your favorite tool, Dr. V, Canva.
Oh, I love Canva.
I
Canva.
do.
And a
Canva
friend
and
of
I
mine
are best buds. We're like,
and a friend of mine has this process, in really, really easy way to write the book. So for the people who want to write the book, I really recommend this one. Is my friend Bradley. So take a look at that. But yeah, this is a page with all of my recommendation. Meet Kayvonk.com/r.
oh, it's not MEAT.
No, MEET. Let's meet.
Oh, okay. Let's meet.
And then it's like a pirate. Arr.
Arr.
R, yes. R for recommendation. R.
Arr.
Yeah, I think we could do a part 2. This is actually very interesting. I think it provides a
Yeah.
lot of value, and I think it's something that we can chew on and swallow if we like it without being commoditized.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll try to
So,
take that before next time.
I just clicked on that. So what the options are just to take the Fascinate test.
Yeah.
If they want to do it for the everybody in the company, they can get a bulk rating. So buy like, I don't know, 10, 2, 3, 5, 100 tests and get a discount as
Or
the
49 if you're 7x7.
Yeah. And also I mentioned the anthem, which we're going to talk about it on part 2, but it's that whole process of creating your personal anthem. So not only, you remember I had 2 antidotes, the first and the second. So this one gives you test and personal brand combo. So people can choose the one that's right for them.
More for your entertainment dollar by Dr. Kayvon K.
Nice.
Well, there's not a link to the comedy stylings of Dr. Kayvon K. Are there?
Not yet.
Maybe I should put it here somewhere.
You got another one. So you have the potential for 4 up instead of 3.
Yeah.
And so then you just put your DVDs and tickets available. And
Me with one of those straw hats and these with a cane. Hello, my darling. It's all entertainment, right? Showbiz. It's all showbiz.
That's entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the link is down below. Hey, by the way, those of you who are watching on replay, and we know that that is the vast majority of you, please use the hashtag replay, and we will be pinged. Because it don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ping. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future topics, just let us know down in the chat. And that particular, it doesn't matter because we'll see that wherever it is. You could be on YouTube, you could be on LinkedIn, you could be on Twitter, wherever. We'll still see it and we'll get notified that you have something to say to us. So, and it doesn't matter if it's like, love, hate, or total disgust. We love a reaction, any reaction. So, with that in mind, we're ready to have some great reactions this weekend. We wish you a happy weekend. Please be back here again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern, noon in Hawaii, for God's sakes. And we'll have another episode of the Do It Now show. How now?
Until then.
Until then. And we're not going to see you on the inside because we're not, I mean, we're here inside.
This is the inside.